he's got to be in the top 10 leading surfing craftsmen in the world at the moment. Good evening, listeners. Is there some sort of name like Noughts or something for people that listen to stuff, Matt?
Heroes, legends,
Or audio Noughts.
Core Lord, Hellman, Tube Fiend, Degenerates.
So good evening to you lots. It's the Insiders voted by Matt and myself as the best podcast in Europe currently on your airwaves. If you hear any background music, it's because the Village Festival is across the road from my house in the park. So it's been a 3-night bender of 5 a.m. techno music after the music and the French brass bands finish.
Solid.
Ooh la la, big weekend, Matt, I tell you.
Sounds pretty spicy.
Last night I had mil frite and the night before I had steak and chips.
Wallop. That's a good effort.
With
I had
lashings of red and lashings of rosé.
good effort. I had sushi last night. I've been going through the
Ooh la
water a
la.
little bit.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah. I I people might have seen I got bitten by something on my leg and my whole leg swelled up like double the size. And then I done something to my shoulder and then got a horrible cold. So I've been feeling
In the
sorry for
war.
myself.
You're
Yeah.
in the wars. You're in the wars. Well, let's do what we love to do. That'll take your mind off all your ailments.
Yeah, boy.
Talk about surfing.
Where should we start? Where should we start?
Excuse my accent, listeners. I can't help it. I was born in Brisbane and I grew up on the Sunshine Coast, and we're not necessarily normal humans.
We're not.
Let's start with J Bay. We might be late to it, but we've got our own take on things.
Definitely. We've got a bit more time to digest it, I guess. Um, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll kick it off. There was some really, really good surfing, some really, really good waves, some really weird decision making by the WSL, and in my opinion, some sketchy judging. But all of that's like good because you want an event that's conversational and that is causing a little bit of debate, but really you want to be talking about hero waves and good waves and finally I think they had good waves, at least for that one main day.
Yeah, they had one day, wasn't it? Well, how much of a letdown was it the next day? Because at one stage I heard the commentator saying that the day after was going to be a bit bigger. Well,
Yeah,
how far from the mark was that?
yeah, that was a bit off. The one I said about some weird decision making, that I cannot believe the decision they made to run the first two women's heats of the elimination round, I think it was, in the waves they did. They were like some of the worst waves you can ever get. No, it wasn't the
At
elimination
J
round.
Bay. There
Opening
weren't
round.
waves. There
It
weren't
was.
waves.
I felt so bad for the women. Um, but yeah, so that was weird decision making because like is it it was just strange as.
So how much of a letdown was it when you looked? Because it's good for us in Europe. Like it's an epic event because it's the same time as us.
Yeah.
So like as soon as I saw it that next morning, I was like, what was your immediate reaction to who was the winner going to be when you saw the first heat?
What, on finals day or on the big
Yep,
day?
finals day.
Well, on finals day, I thought it was always going to be Philippe. As soon as I saw the waves,
So did I. So, I think we're all on the same channel. I think he's an undisputed under 4 foot world champ.
but what about if I ask you the same question, except for when they said about the waves being bigger the day before? So after the day before finals day, when you had your finals day lineup and you thought the waves might be bigger.
I'm telling you, for example, one heat, like, was it Ethan? Yeah, it was Ethan Gabby coming
Yeah,
coming into if all things panned out, it was them two coming ahead in the semis, which they did anyway.
yeah.
And I'm telling you, someone asked me, and I was like, "That's a heat I couldn't pick. I
Mm.
wouldn't want to put money on it because no matter how good Ethan is frontside, I still thought Gabby could take him if he got the right waves, or I don't even know if he need the right. If I guess he does need the right waves. I don't think he can beat Ethan at J Bay if you're on inferior waves to what Ethan's on. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I thought going into finals day when you saw the final four, if the forecast was good, I was really, really hoping that it would pan out the way it did and get an Ethan Philippe final, but in pumping waves. I and I think
Yeah, it was a suck.
I think Felipe just got the best waves of the final, and he surfed them very, very, very well.
Oh, he's so good in that. And you remember I called Lakey? I like to
Yeah, yeah,
remind,
yeah.
yeah. I thought she's a good frontside surfer, isn't she? She's a really good frontside performance surfer.
She is. She is. I think
Deserved winner as well, obviously.
I mentioned the judging. I thought the judging in the Steph Molly heat was absolutely terrible. So
Okay,
bad.
I heard that. So, well, because they're giving high scores to Molly on closeout maneuvers.
Well, yeah, for
I
me,
didn't
I
really
just
watch it. I was so busy that part. I couldn't watch. I was driving around. Like, don't do this, listeners. But I've got it on Bluetooth, so I've got the commentary, and I got my phone down in the middle. Which, like, if you get to a light, I'll look down at it. But like, I couldn't really see.
mm.
I couldn't really see him tee up.
It was the same as there was a couple of heats with it where like the same as the John and Connor heat and stuff, where if you watch the heat and you didn't have scores in the top corner and you just said like who was the best surfer of that heat, I know every single person would have picked Steph. And I thought Molly surfed well, but Steph just surfed incredibly like well. Same as John and Connor. John surfed so much better than Connor in that heat. And the judges cooked it.
Well, see, I'm gonna go against the grain on you here, and every now and then you need that because I had John in my team, and it was a really important event for me. I won still $100, a carton of beer, and 6 pies. You won't spit
No,
on that, will you? Because
no.
I had Ethan as a double bonus and Felipe in my team, but Matthew, John's my favorite surfer. Let's not get it wrong. John, like, I think in good waves, he's everyone's surfer. And I've got a feeling that, like, things happen, like the Brazilians complained, and I had a big flow going with them in the pool where they've got a huge backup population. Everyone in the Western kind of part of the world loves John. So he was surfing good. So they want him to win. And because he doesn't, like, I'm just putting this at to you. That last re-entry that Connor does when he gets the score, that's an incredibly gnarly section. I just think if it was John, Gabrielle, Ethan, even Jack, to lead on that, if they did that maneuver, they'd get a big score and no one would say anything because Connor's just
Mm.
not as popular. He's
I,
not as popular.
I see what you're saying. With that
I
heat,
thought John's first wave was bit cooked. I thought that was a hell barrel, like a hell barrel. It was
yeah,
still
and
a
it's a point of difference. The thing with
3 footer.
Connor's last wave is that he had so much downtime and there were 4 repetitive turns. And
Look at it on the replay. I don't think they were.
and I think he bogs a bit coming out of a bottom turn. Like it wasn't seamless. I love Connor as well. I thought like I his heat with Callum Robson, I thought he surfed so good. And I thought he surfed really good against John. Again, I feel like if you turn the scores off and watch, I personally think if you watch that wave, if that wave was in the first 10 minutes of the heat, it gets a point less.
Yes. I'm sorry, man.
That's
I've
all
got
right.
my son lent me $20 last night and he's trying to get it back for the carnival. And I will give it back to him. He'll get his $20. Don't you worry, because there's There's games out there across the road. It's a carnival.
Spend
You've
it
got a
wisely.
carnival across the road. There wasn't a carnival at J Bay. Either way, hey, so if you have a look at a couple of John's waves on that, and I thought his nose nearly bogged a couple of times coming down.
Mm.
I know you don't believe me. I know, like,
No, I'm not saying that. I
popular
think
opinion of people that love John, me too. But I'm just looking at it like, if you didn't love either of them, I don't think it was that outrageous. I really don't at all.
I don't think it was like world ending, but I do think
But
that I just don't think the last wave is an 87. But
neither do I. But I don't think his first wave was a 926
and I think that's kind of fair as well because
at the start of a heat, and it was a small barrel, and it was epic, like an epic, fun, long, small barrel. But I don't think you can give it on it was like a 4-footer when there were 6-foot waves, and I don't know if you can give a 4-foot
I agree.
longer barrel 926 at the start, and then they just get everything skew-whiffed.
Yeah,
because if he had got a lower score, then maybe he would have then waited and had to get a bigger score, and he probably would have or potentially could have.
While we're talking about judging and stuff, like I messaged you after day one saying I hate the judges.
Yeah. See that?
The reason I sent that was the John heat with Italo. John caught a wave. He done a huge turn. He done like 5 massive turns and then an end section, and he got an 8. And Italo picked one wave, just raced down the line, done an air, and got like an 8.5. And I was just like, I've had enough of these judges. Do they not realize they're at Jeffreys Bay where a one section hit is just not good enough?
And same with the 9.2 for Yago, which was great, but like
just
Toledo didn't get that many 9.2s for like. No. We already said this in the last thing. Like one of Ethan's best turns he can ever do, which no one else can do. No one. No, let's be honest now. Not even John can do them. No, or maybe, but no, he can't. Like Kelly obviously doesn't. Like he won't get a 9.2 for one turn, will he?
No.
Well, imagine if if Ethan takes off at the top of the point, weaves, doesn't even do a turn, does like a top high line because the wave's going too fast.
Yeah.
There's a high line, another high line, and then comes in the last section and just goes. What are they going to give it?
If it's not an 7? Air, they'll give it a 7.
There. So
but I did think it
was a great air. It was a sick air, but I just don't think you can give it a 9.2. I don't know. I think
I agree. I do agree.
It just sets a precedent. Interpretation.
Yeah, it sets a bar for the rest of the event that you want to be promoting multiple maneuvers at J Bay and not single throwaway airs. But
how good are the backhanders now? Look at the crew they've got. Ryan Callahan, insane.
So
different style of surfing to the other ones too, huh?
Yeah.
Gabrielle just looks glued to his board the way he does those snaps. It's just incredible. And then Connor, who's now like increased, like progressed, like mentally.
Connor backside, I think, is the best.
I don't think Yago was close to Connor, Brian, or Gabrielle.
No, but I do really like his style, but I still agree.
So do I, but he wasn't doing what they were doing.
But do you not? And it makes me want to see what, like, it makes me want to see the wave flipped over and see what John's backhand would look like, or Philippe's backhand would look like, or Ethan's, like, and what Gabby's forehand would look like. And like, I couldn't even tell you now. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't even tell you now. Connor's like, is Connor O'Leary good going frontside? I don't know. Like,
yeah, he is.
I know he is, but like,
he's lived at my house for a few months. We surfed lefts all the time. No, I don't know either. For God's sake,
and I want to know. So
yeah, well, we'll see. Hey, what was it? I had one on the tip of my tongue then, and then completely forgot what it was. You get that with the old age, Matthew.
Is it about J-Bay?
Oh. Shout out to Matthew, Mr. G-Land. No, we're not going to call him that because everyone be called that. But Mr. Dobell, a friend of mine, like owner of the biggest forehand slash from Sunny Coast, or come on up there. And I had him on the phone. We had a good chat because he's got a young mate coming to Hossegor. And his big call was, are you kidding me how I overscored Jack's getting? Because I thought it too. I thought Kelly got kind
I
of
thought
cooked
Kelly got
in his
cooked.
teeth. So did I. So how weird's that you got the GOAT now who's
Yeah.
getting, they don't want him there. They want him there, but they don't want him there. Do the judges not get the memo?
Yeah, that's the weird thing is I thought he
I
got
love Jack, but he was doing a little bit of 90s vertical Rios, which are okay and stuff, but I thought Kelly kind of got cooked with some really, really good turns.
I do too. I thought Kelly looked like he had like real good style as well, which was funny. But
So, yeah, but well, it was not funny. He had the best style in the world for 20 years, but should have retired after
winning
Pipe.
pipe, yeah,
Hashtag should have retired Kelly.
yeah. Talking about throwbacks and styles and stuff, and
How
moving.
does that sound? GOSY. How do you say that? Gozy.
What are you talking about?
Greatest surfer of yesterday.
Ah, he's
Gozy.
still the greatest of all time, but just
Yep.
not the greatest at the moment. Not the current best in the world.
Greatest of the moment. Gutum.
But I'm going to move on from J Bay, and this is something that I don't even know if you've seen or not. I actually.
Hey, come on, wait on. Don't be a misogyne. 2
We spoke
minutes
about
at least
Lakey.
for the women. There's less women's. Yeah, we spoke about Lakey, them, Molly, ripped, Katie Simmers. What did I say? Too young for J Bay potentially.
I thought Molly.
Enough
I don't know.
experience.
When I watch Molly, I don't really like her style. Like when she's racing
She
it,
bends a bit. She
she's
bends over
very
a bit.
like leant over. Um, but I thought Steph served really well and got a bit ripped off. I thought Tyler was real good.
Yeah,
Like
she
she
served
wasn't.
great.
I thought Tyler was just going to be that classic Tyler like layback kind of thing, and she barely used it. She looked really like fresh. I thought Tyler looked super good.
Did you like Tyler's interviews?
Yeah, she's quite classic, really.
She's just off the hook. But anyway,
I feel like she's like got so much less pressure on herself now, and that's why she's
I feel
surfing
like
so
she
good.
doesn't realize that she's, well, she does actually realize she does have one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Yeah,
Like her and the toilet cleaners, the Paris underground, they've got a tough job too, but not as tough as going around the world and surfing comps,
yeah. But no,
getting a few million.
I did think Tyler was cool, like, and I thought that the way she surfed was really good as well. Um, and I just felt sorry for the women. I thought they got absolutely pied off on that first day.
It was only
Um,
2 heats though, mate. It was only 2 heats.
yeah, but like
It happens.
it was only 2 heats, but then like,
Imagine Kelly didn't want them to run that first day, and if they didn't, they wouldn't have even got the good thing.
well, yeah,
They would have done round one in the good thing and then be left struggling.
yeah, true. But
Maybe
yeah,
surfing shouldn't be sponsored.
but I thought
Maybe it
Lakey,
is just a hugger sport.
but I did think Lakey was a deserved winner, and I thought she surfed good. Um, she done well in the final, stayed real busy, so
One got the gold medal.
yeah,
There was a few
and
Olympic qualifiers in the event.
yeah, she's nowhere near it, but yeah,
Hey, maybe as much as I'm not even on the fence, I don't really want surfing in the Olympics. Full stop. I think it's anti something, but maybe for the first time in history, with the way the current WSL calendar and shenanigans is going on, maybe next year's gold medal at Chopu is better than the world title, isn't it? What do you
I think it
reckon?
isn't. I genuinely think it probably is at the moment because of the way you
Right?
win the world title.
Yeah. And then next year they're going to go, hey, so if next year, no, has anyone talked about this? So next year there's a tour. Let's just say there's a tour. doesn't get canned. Chopu is scheduled in the middle of August, and so is the Olympics. So do they say, okay, we'll have ours after the Olympics? They say we'll have it before, bring it forward a month. There's going to be a scheduling change. Have you thought about that?
Mm. What I do know is that the defending gold medalist will not be at Chopu.
Who is the defense? Oh,
Italo.
how was that? Oh, I thought he's broken his knee. That
I
guy's
thought it
made of.
absolutely. I thought
He's
it,
made of rubber and titanium.
but he now categorically will not finish higher than Zhao, Gabby, or Philippe, and only obviously two go. So he's not going to the Olympics unless Brazil win in January or February in Puerto Rico.
So Toledo's qualified.
Yep.
We don't know if it's Gabriel who's second, who can qualify.
It could be
right?
Gabriel or Zhao.
Could be Zhao.
And
So
if they both
just
qualify,
say it's Toledo and Zhao, and then they go to the ISA and win. Who do they put?
They got to pick out a Gabby or Italo.
How's that for a conundrum?
Yeah.
Suckers.
But Australia's
Leo qualified.
Yeah, Leo qualified. Ethan Ewing's
Someone
qualified.
else. Ethan
Griffin.
Ewing qualified. He looked so stoked. He looked like a statue with a statue on Valium when they told him.
Yeah.
He qualified. Pretty stoked.
Griffin's qualified, which is cool.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Are they going? They can't give that. Hey, the Olympics don't care about giving Kelly a wild card. Do you think?
No, I think they do. I think
They
they do a
might.
lot.
You reckon they went to his? He got that much pull?
Maybe.
That much tape?
Probably.
Oh, well, that'll take me straight into the next subject. The new CEO of the WSL. Boris. What's the name of your prime minister? The blonde dude that organised Brexit.
Johnson. Yeah.
Did they not get him in?
I have no idea who they're going to get, and I've heard so many things about it now. I'm kind of over it.
I'm pushing for Andrew Stark because I just read an article on Tracks today again about him.
Yeah,
I reckon he's better than me. There was an interview on Stab with Pat O'Connell, and I just, I'm not going to jump off a bridge for Pat O'Connell, and like he just didn't come across as very like genuine.
Yeah. Pat O'Connell's got so much on his plate at the moment as well, and he's in bed with like.
What have you watched him have dinner?
Yeah, I have.
Veggies,
he's in bed. He's in bed with like the Kandui Holdings, which is like what John's massively part of. I feel like there's a conflict of interest and stuff there.
What's that? The Kandui Holdings.
Yeah, it's what owns Florence Marine X and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, he's not Hurley CEO. Yeah, he's like marketing or boss or something like that.
So
how can that be a conflict? I guess you'd have to quit.
Yeah, he's Florence Marine X kind of.
Have you bought any Florence Marine X stuff lately?
I got selected for their test pilot thing, so I got sent.
Yeah, so you don't buy it; you just get it for free.
Yeah, only a couple of bits, but yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good.
I suppose I can't talk when it comes to Quicksilver. I have bought a couple of 50% off stuff.
I was going to say you get yours even cheaper at the moment.
It's my business.
Quickly though, what I wanted to talk about, which is a bit off subject from what you sent, and it's much more like fun than the WSO CEO. But I'm gonna reckon you haven't seen it yet. But have you seen Out of the Rafters, the Dane Reynolds?
Well, believe it or not, Matt, I'm as finger on the pulse as you are.
How do you know what? When I watched that, I was like,
yeah, that's one of the great movies of this year.
You said about Kelly and like Kelly, I want Kelly to get off tour and then go and find his old boards and surf them and make something like that. That would be like if Dane does it that well, Kelly could do it and it would be so sick. Like, but that Out of the Rafters thing is so good.
I'm wondering if he's become too vain. I'm sure Kelly listens to this and don't take it as a fence, Kelly, but I don't know if he can pull that off naturally. I think he
No.
could have.
Did you see where Dane ran into the pane of glass?
That's gnarly. All that blood,
That is so
gnarly. Watch it, listeners. Watch it. That's gnarly. So,
It's
what was the best surfing?
I thought that
Thought he struggled on everything because he's too heavy for everything he picked up.
I thought
But he still ripped the buggery out of them all.
I thought Mikey February on the Tom Curran board looked cool, and I thought that Rolo Montez
Yep.
when he was on the blue, I forgot what they called it now, blue something, and he snapped it, but he looked really good on that before he broke it.
Did you see what was funny? And this is really good for listeners to watch. It's Dane, because I remember when it came out, we still had Channel Islands license, the sperm whale, right?
Oh yeah.
Was his weird mongrel mini male quad thing. So when he first gets on it, you see like he's just lost because he hadn't obviously surfed something like that for a good 10 years or something. But by the end of the film, he's surfing really good on it, isn't he?
And on waves
like, that really good.
Yeah, I agree. That was sick. That was something I watched. I consumed quite a bit this week.
Hell barrel on one of those boards.
Yeah,
well, he got a couple of hell barrels, but he got a really good one, which was just I was just like, oh, what a barrel! It didn't matter what board you're on; it was a sick barrel.
Yeah, he was on that. I think it was when he was on the original Proton, because like the nose looked like it was going to poke him in the eye because there was that much rocker. Yeah. Did you?
He's such a relatable guy. He's just the most relatable, like legendary hell surfer I think the planet's ever seen.
Yeah, I think he's sick. I absolutely love the Chapter 11 stuff. Like I'm all over it, like a cheap suit. And then
cheap
I watched
soup or sheep soup.
Cheap suit.
Suit. I thought you said sheep soup, and I was thinking, ooh, bit of sheep soup. Disgusting.
And then do you know what though is on the same evening, back to back, I watched that and then straight away watched the incredible new Need Essentials edit film.
That was a bit of a video night for you.
And it couldn't be more of a contrast. And it was so good.
That's the video of the year.
He might be my new favorite surfer.
I'm telling you, I'd already watched a bit of him. I watched him I don't know if it was Need Essentials. He went to this spot in Sumatra a few years ago. What movie was that? Was that something to do with Deuce?
It might, yeah. Or was it something to do with Ryan Birch?
Because he was on Deuce. No, he went to there. I'm sure it was in a Deuce movie, Deuce Ex Machina. I could be wrong. Maybe he went there with he did. God, I've got a good memory. With Harrison
Roach.
Oh,
and it was a Rourke.
Hell little bay. It's got a right and left.
Yeah, it was a Rourke film.
Yeah. Bright, like obviously, so people who don't understand, Bryce Young, his father, Nat Young, one of the greatest surfers of all time, who's in there. I don't know how old he is. I'll ask Gracie. He's got to be 70, 75, maybe 7.
Yeah.
Ripping.
Do you know he's the only person to ever win a longboard and shortboard world championship?
There you go. And I was about to fall asleep when I watched that, and I had to sleep. I had to get up. And so I fast forwarded a few bits through, and I fast forwarded over the bit which I didn't even see it. And then I come back for it, which was Bryce on a glider, and then with his dad, which was amazing as well.
So good. And when he's on the Elias, the like hand shape, the
I don't like the
wooden things. I don't really like it, but the way he served it was so cool. Like instantly I was like, wow, like this guy, his footwork and the way he properly dances on the wave. I thought it was so cool.
So if you put him out there at J-Bay on one of those Ryan Birch epoxy asymmetrical shovel noses,
called a pickle fork, yeah.
I think he can take Toledo.
Well, it depends who's the judge.
I'm wondering if it's like, would he melt in a heat? Most probably, because he probably hasn't done a heat for a billion years. But the surfing in that, and like, this is a big call, and people listening might think I'm a wanker. Sorry. But that frontside surfing he's doing, it's like nothing, nearly nothing seen.
Do you
Are
know
you
what?
agreeing with that or not?
I 100% agree. He reminded me of Rodney Mullen, the skateboarder, who looked at what skateboarding was at that time and was like, no, I'm doing it a different way. Like when Rodney Mullen started skateboarding, it was all the downhill kind of slalom and the spin on the tail thing. He invented the kickflip. And I think like I know that Bryce Young isn't inventing anything new, but he's reinventing. Like I haven't seen lines drawn like that and surfing on boards like he was on waves like he was on. I haven't seen that.
I'm gonna try and I don't know how, but I've got a couple of contacts. I'm gonna try and get him on the potty. And we've talked up guests as much as we can. You know what I mean? We still haven't got Madonna. It's too late for the Queen, but let's try
Well,
and get Bryce on.
we had to cancel Jonas.
Madonna.
We had to cancel Jonah Hill, didn't we? Because of his misogynist beliefs.
And also, guess we'll get to him, Lauren Pujol, but we'll just let this one drop of the great podcast I did with him that I forgot to press record on. So we'll get back to him on that one. But if we can get Bryce on, like, I want to ask him is how's he bankrolling this artistic career he's pulled out? Because come on, he's just been, like, I think his dad's got decent coin from them having good place there at Angari. Maybe I don't know how that's working into it, but he has like a 1700s poor artist. Like Van Gogh was poor before he died.
Yeah,
You know that, don't you? Yeah. So he's got to be in the top 10 leading surfing craftsmen in the world at the moment.
yeah.
Like watching that, it's nearly untouchable. He's got a few weird bits, but that seems to be his style. But to get that good, can you imagine how much time he spent in the water as well?
Yeah, for sure.
He's not working,
No,
not packing boxes. If you don't get that good packing boxes.
Nah, he's probably.
But obviously, he's got natural talent. He's got his DNA. His dad was like one of the greatest, like we said, greatest surfer of all time. And hands down, that last section with Laurie Towner, I'm going to rewatch it 10 times this year if I can.
Yeah. And how good is it that Need pick that up and support it? Like it's like he's not one of their riders as such.
No, but Laurie is. Laurie's one of the greatest surfers that ever came out of Australia, ever.
But for
small wave, big wave.
Need they're doing this now. Like they're way more than just a wetsuit and like clothing.
Oh, they're better. They're better than half the brands that are out there.
Oh, good. And like the production and the and I love the fact that they still put out long format films, like a 45-minute film. Most people would cut that up into 4 sections and put it out as monthly episodes or something.
Not just shortboarding. And then halfway through, I was thinking, how does he go left? And then he goes left.
Yeah.
Fuck, he's good backside, isn't he?
Very good. And yeah, I just
Ryan Birch is one of my other favorite all-time surfers. I'm wondering, like I asked you not long ago, who's the ultimate goofy like Torren Martin? Well, you got to think Ryan Birch is up there because he also shapes.
Yeah, true. 100%. Yeah, he's.
Did you ever watch that Volcom? Was it movie?
What, Psychic Migrations?
Yeah. When he's on, I made Fipsy watch that. I stopped Fipsy shaping while he was shaping. In his shaping bay, and made him watch that Ryan Birch section where he's on the fish on that left point.
Yeah, so
that
good.
Should be on the world tour, shouldn't it? That the left point
should be.
Imagine that wave on the world tour.
Imagine it.
They just can't do it. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, it's a sick film, and
Ryan Birch is ripping in that film, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
How's his footwork on a longboard?
Yeah, and a mid-length. There's a section where he's on like a mid-length as well, and he's like dancing all over it. And And then you go out and try it, and you nearly face plant your own board, and you just think, "Wow, that's even harder than it looks."
I'm going to watch it again tonight.
Yeah, it's good.
We're not
Is that
going to
the
bore the
is that
viewers, Matt. Oh, good. I can see we got 4 minutes left, but I'm just gonna love you and leave you. I've got to find $20 for my son. I've got a couple of do's and don'ts. Huh?
Yeah, go on.
I can't remember what they were. You go.
Well, my do was straight up watch both Out of the Rafters and the Need Essentials Bryce Young film that the name is completely eluded me. It's a long sentence, but yeah, watch it. It's unbelievable. My don't would be don't let things bite you and then ignore it, because I ignored it and my legs swelled up and it was bad. So
Oh, I'm going to say do lend your board to people that are traveling, like what I did the other day and got snapped.
yeah, that's a story for another body.
There's another hashtag Dibble. Dibble lent me his board. And I flipped over and remember I knocked the fins out of it.
Yeah, the
So people
Hayden.
lend me their boards. So why can I not lend them my board? And I did, and it snapped. And let's hopefully he sends me some coin one day. Hashtag Woodzo. Send the coin.
Yeah, maybe
So
you
that
can
was a
get
do.
20 quid.
And my don't is this is out of left field. Don't surf shitty waves. Sorry, everyone in the world that surf lives where there's shitty waves, but you got to, sorry, you can't. But don't surf them too much, or don't base your life on shitty waves, because you see the difference between a good day at J Bay and everything else we're watching. You understand what I mean, Matt?
I do.
People used to come in at Euroglass and say to me, yeah, I'm looking for me groveler. And I'd say, well, have you got a good step up?
Yeah,
If you're going on a surf trip, don't worry about your shitty board. Take on your surf, get the swap on.
that's it.
That's a do. Is
There
it
you
a
go.
don't? It's a do and don't.
Bit of both. Double banger.
We got 2 minutes to pick a Chopu winner.
Gabby.
Yeah, I was going to say Jack, but I know it's Gabby. Yeah, it's Gabby.
I reckon
Female? Oh,
John or Gabby, and female.
Vahine.
Vahina. Yeah, Vahine.
Vahine.
Um, yeah.
I reckon Vahine. I can't see anyone. I think Molly and Katie will go good.
I think
Their
Molly could
backside,
go.
they're better than the other crew.
Yeah.
And I think Taddy's got the worst frontside tubes style. Like, she might go all right, but I don't think she can touch Vahini out there.
If Vahina gets the wild card, she wins it.
She will get it, won't she? Being an Olympic qualifying local.
She
Who
should
knows?
be. If they stick
Is there
to
a
the same.
trials?
No, if they stick to the same format, like this event, they got. That's another thing that I got pissed off with the wild cards. Why are the wild cards in it the way they pick them? Pick people, like, stick a decent wild card in there that actually.
Who would you pick for the guys? Clay Marzo? He won't get
Chopes?
it. I would. Yep.
Oh, I mean, I like the pick of Cully Vast because.
Oh, well, Carly, is he in it?
But yeah, but he won't be the.
Carly.
But
Made the
he's not-
final last year. They got to give it to him, don't they?
He's not the highest rated French surfer on the QS, so who knows?
Yeah, they got to give it to him. And he made the final last year.
Yeah,
Beat Kelly was it not Kelly? Who did he beat with the switch foot?
Yeah, Jack Robbo.
Oh, well, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much, Audio Nauts.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. I'm going to the carnival.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Cheers, Daz.